Hey, Uncle Ugot's here. Today is Monday night, 7 o'clock. You know what that means? That's right. Health Chat is coming to you. Grab a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, it's Monday night. I'm Dr. Nick Circolone, and welcome to Health Chat. As always, I'm excited. I'm ready to go, raring to move on. You know, we were going to talk about some different things today, but, you know, it kind of hit me. I got broadsided, to be perfectly honest with you, about the debates last week, and I wanted to I was mulling that over in my head, and I kept thinking, wow, this is amazing. I mean, I turned on a debate last week, and it broke out into a fight. I don't want to get political tonight. We're not going to be talking about politics. I don't care if you're voting for President Trump. I don't care if you're voting for Joe Biden. But I do care. I will say this politically. I do care that you vote. Because whoever wins, and you're going to complain about it, and you didn't vote, don't complain. If you voted and you're not happy, complain. That's your right as an American citizen. It is awesome to be American. I have to say that. We live in the world's greatest country, bar none. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what the way people are acting, what people say. We live in the greatest country in the world. Now that I got that out of the way, the debates, I have to tell you, it was like a boxing match. Seriously. What would have been really nice is if the moderator, if Wallace would have just got out of the way and just let it happen. I think that would have been extremely entertaining. We could have put that on pay-per-view, and people would have paid for it just to watch what was going on. It's amazing how far we have come in the government. I'm not a big fan of big government. I'm just going to say that right off the top. But it was interesting to see these perspectives. You know, name calling, fact checking. This one was embellishing this point. This one was embellishing that point. It was just an interesting, just to watch it, to see what was going on. But the perspective that I have or have been thinking about was the way we look at things and the way our kids are looking at things. That's where I wanted to go. So again, it's not political. It's just kind of a perspective that I noticed while I was watching it and kept thinking about it and thought, wow, look at the kids. Think about this. Look at the kids that were born during the Obama administration. Now, prior to that, we know a lot of things were different. You know, some of us lived through Reagan. Some of us lived through Carter, Nixon, Kennedy. We saw a different type of government. We saw a different type of administration with all those other presidents. Then 9/11 hits. Everything changed. Our whole world changed. I mean, that was the first time since World War II that we were attacked on our own soil. And everybody at that moment, think about this, everybody at that moment banded together as one nation for one cause, as one people, and we were Americans. We were holding hand in hand. We were arm in arm. We were looking at people in a light that we're not looking at now. Good example. If you were living at the time of 9/11, you remember the pictures of the Twin Towers falling and our first responders flying to the rescue of those people, running into crumbling buildings, burning buildings to help save people. Now, those same people that we said were heroes are now being vilified. And we don't want that law. We don't want that order. We don't want those people coming in to save us. What happened? I mean, really, what happened? What happened to our world perspective? And this is what I was thinking about. It's like, where did we go wrong with this? And I think a lot of it is the way, this is going to sound terrible, but I really think that giving our children everything that they wanted, giving our children more than we had. We thought we were doing the right thing. I know my mom, when she was raising me, she wanted to give me more than she had. When we were raising, we wanted to give our kids more than we had. And we get to a point where they don't see what they actually really have. Think about this. When we were younger, we got all excited when Mr. Softy, or the ice cream man, or the ice cream truck would ring its bell. We'd run outside. We'd have, Mom, can I have 50 cents? I want to get a Rocket Pop. We don't do that anymore. It's like, hey, I need $5 for Starbucks. You need $5 for Starbucks? For a cup of coffee, you need $5? Well, yeah, that's how much it costs. When we asked for 50 cents, it was like, do you really need that Rocket Pop? Do you really want that Rocket Pop? We had to think about that. Well, now it's like, here's your $5. Go get your coffee from Starbucks. We have given our kids so much that they don't understand that what they have, there was a sacrifice made for that. And I think the way they're acting and the way they're reacting, because a lot of the stuff that we're seeing with some of these riots and some of these protests, they're younger. They're younger kids that we've given everything to. Now, again, don't get me wrong. I am not saying we shouldn't protest. We shouldn't violently protest, but it's okay to protest. That's our that's a right as an American to do that. But I was looking at what we've done to our kids, the mental health that I think we hurt our kids. I really do. I think we hurt ourselves in doing that. I remember being a latchkey kid. If any of you remember being a latchkey kid, raise your hand, because, that was the thing back in the 70s. Mom and dad had to work, so they gave you a key and you were on your own. Sometimes we got in trouble. Sometimes we didn't. But we had the fear of our parents and what would happen. We had the fear of authority because there was a consequence to our actions. I don't know where we went wrong with that, but I think our kids don't have that same fear of, I don't want to say law and order, but they don't have that fear of authority where they just go, we're just going to do what we want to do, and we don't even worry about the consequences because there is no consequences. I think we made a mistake in giving every kid a participation trophy. Listen, I mean, we're going to talk about stuff I'll probably make you really mad, but I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to make you think. I remember as a kid when we played dodgeball. If you didn't play dodgeball, you're probably last that was picked. Does that mean that we were like the kid that wasn't picked was like a bad person? No, they just weren't good at dodgeball. They probably were good at doing something else, science or fixing things, but they weren't really good at playing dodgeball, and we didn't pick them. Listen, I remember being, I got to tell you, when I was in high school, I'm using high school. Think about high school. I saw pictures from my yearbook. It blew me away. I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it's been 40 years since I've been in high school. I did say that, 40 years. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. But I saw the yearbook, and I thought to myself, man, I was ripped. I was 127 pounds of twisted steel. 127 pounds. Could you picture that? 127. I ripped my shirt off, and what you saw was my spine. I didn't have abs. I just had a spine. And we think back on that, it's like, oh my gosh, what were we doing in the 80s? We were getting in trouble just like they're getting in trouble now. But I think we had a sense of morals that kept us from really, really getting into trouble and really going off the beaten path. Now, I'm not saying we didn't have drugs back then. I'm not saying that we didn't do things that we shouldn't have done. We did. But it was different. I don't know how to explain how different that was. But I think the mental state of our kids is different than the mental state of when we were kids. There are more kids on medications for anxiety. There's more kids that are seeing therapists because of issues that they have. there's more kids that are confused about what they are. Am I a male? Am I a female? I am not. Am I like, do I know what I am? I mean, we didn't have those kind of issues. And if we did, there weren't many of them. But now it seems like all of our kids are on medication. They're going to counseling. We're trying our best to juggle what's going on in their lives. And yet we're freaking out about it too, because we have no idea how to deal with them. And then we watch a debate and we see, wait a minute, these two grown men are fighting and arguing on who did what and who did this and who did that. And again, it doesn't matter. This is what we chose as our government. This is our government. And there's, you know what, like I said before, this is the best government in the world. What we have in place, I don't want to change anything. We have a constitution, okay? Let's keep our constitution. Let's not change it. Let's bring back to this country what we had before. Bring back some of our morals. Bring back some of that fear of authority. And I think things would kind of level themselves out a little bit. But it's going to take all of us to do that. Not just me talking about it or you talking about it. It's going to take all of us. I want to go back in time just a little bit. I'm a Christian. Everybody, you know that from just listening to the show. But I want you to go back. Let's go back to the nation of Israel wanted a leader. And Samuel, their prophet, said, no, that's not a good idea. Look at what's happening around us with other nations that have kings. They're oppressing their people. They're taking from their people. They're not allowing their people a voice. And Samuel was saying, listen, you don't want that. You have a king, and it's God. And look at where God has taken you throughout the ages. And they were like, no, we want a king. No, we want a king. We want someone to rule over us. We want a king. And what happened was they kind of let God go, you're over here, and we're going to lift up our new king. So you're taking the creator of the universe, pulling him away, and putting a man in place of all of that. And what happens is, as time went on, things got worse and worse and worse and worse until God said, you know what? I'm sending my son. This is going to help change and redeem everything. Again, that's a Judeo-Christian belief. You may not believe that way, but even if you don't, watch this progression of when we take away the Almighty and put in man, because that makes a huge difference on the way we say things. And I think our children have lost out on that. I think our children have lost out on the fact that there is a God, he reigns supreme, and there is an authority that we have to really respect. Now, does all authority, should we respect all authority? Yes. Should we obey all authority? Well, there's always questions to that. There are certain people that they're men and women that abuse authority. We know that. And we have to teach our kids what the difference between right and wrong is so they know the difference and they can make the right choice and not get manipulated by those that are wanting to do them harm. Again, this is all a perspective. It's a different show, but I really believe that when I see our kids and us as adults on all kinds of medicines and self-medicating because of all the anxiety and all the angst and everything in the world that we're dealing with, it's making us crazy and we can't think straight. And we have to come back to a point where not only are we grabbing back our own self-worth, but we're grabbing back grabbing onto something that's going to give us hope and perspective of what's really going on. I got to say this. I saw a video, I guess it would be just a clip on YouTube, After Ruth Ginsberg passed away, this woman went ballistic in her car, screaming at the top of her lungs on how bad life was and how did this woman die? Why did you die now? And if you go on YouTube and see it, it's very disturbing that somebody went that ballistic over the death of Ruth Ginsberg. Not that it wasn't sad that she passed, but the reaction that this woman had was like there was nothing else in the world that mattered but the death of this woman. And I think that we look at things differently when we have our perspective in a different place. So I am not concerned about the election. I'm concerned about the election, but I'm not concerned about the election. I look at it this way. God is in control. If President Trump gets reelected, great. If Joe Biden gets reelected, great. It's because God put them there. I may not like one or the other. I may not like, I'm not liberal. I'm more conservative, so that just kind of gives you an idea where I would lean. But whoever becomes president, I have to respect that presidency. I may not like it. I may not want to go by what they say, but I will have to because that's the authority that's been placed before me by Almighty God. Because just because all I can do is one vote. All you can do is one vote. All our children can do is one vote. Whoever gets elected, God is going to allow it because God's plan for our lives is still in motion. If you think that God doesn't have his hand on our world, you're sadly mistaken. We can go into a whole theological debate about this, but that's not what we're going to do. I just want you to understand that no matter what happens, there's higher powers that are in control. So when I watched the debates, that's what I kept thinking about. God is in control. God is over this. Yes, it was kind of, we look at it as, this was an entertaining fight, but we have to pull back and look at it. And yes, you can fact check. Yes, you can make informed decisions on who you want or what you want to vote for. But we all have to think about the ultimate is that God is in total control of all of this. Not only that is, let's look at our children again. God is in control of our children, but we have to give them the right tools in order for them to be more, I don't want to say spiritual, but I want them to have that thought and that opinion of there are higher powers, there is authorities in place, and we have to be respectful of that. And I think a lot of what's happening in our world today is that we're not respecting each other. I hear more people fighting and more people arguing. You hear more about racism. You hear more about women not being treated correctly. What's going on? What happened to love thy neighbor as thyself? I don't have a prejudice on anything. I love everybody. If you treat me wrong, I just don't want to deal with you. But it doesn't mean I don't love you. And trust me, it's hard to love somebody who's hurting you. Believe me, I understand that, and I've been through it. I have my own issues that I deal with. But what I'm saying is we need to start loving each other. And I think if we love each other and really, truly care about each other and care about what happens to each other, I think our world would start looking a whole lot different. And we have to start that in our homes. We have to start that with our families. If anything, everybody was talking about this pandemic, how bad it is, how the economy's bad, how a lot of people have died from it. One thing is, what good has come out of this pandemic? And I hear a lot of people saying that, my life has actually slowed down. I'm spending more time with my family. I'm learning more about my family. And I enjoy that. I think we've been so busy running around, dealing with life, that we haven't had time to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the gifts that we've been given by God. And I know the show has been really different. I know I kind of went off on these tangents, but I want you to understand we need to make a change. We have an opportunity to make a change, regardless of what happens during this next election cycle, and it's going to be less than a month away. Regardless of what happens is we have to make the decision to change and to look at people differently, love people differently. And you know what? It's okay to have a different opinion. I'm so tired of people saying, well, if this one gets in, I'm leaving the country. If this one gets in, we can't talk. If this one gets in, we can't have Thanksgiving dinner. Are you kidding me? Where you're going to allow a political view to stop you from loving your family? Come on. That's ridiculous. You may disagree, but you still love each other. How many times, this is really fun. I'm going to say this because Thanksgiving is probably one of the greatest holidays that we have because we all get together. And let me tell you something. There's fights at the table. I don't know about you guys, but when you get family together, there's fights. But we love each other. We eat together. We enjoy each other's company. Even though we have fights during that time, we still love each other. So why does something that's political stopping us from doing the same thing? So we disagree. Big deal. Who cares? Just because I don't agree with what you say and you don't agree with what I say, we can't be family? That's ridiculous. So, guys, think about this. In 1 month, we're going to have an election on November 3rd. On November 4th, it's November 4th. And after that, Thanksgiving's coming. You're going to have dinner with your family. Don't defriend them on Facebook. Don't stop them on your Instagram. Don't stop them on your YouTube channel. Love them. Get along. So we disagree. Big deal. We're still family. We're all family. I don't care who you are or where we come from. We're all family. And make a promise to someone. Make a promise to yourself. For Thanksgiving, that I'm going to make a change and I'm going to be thankful for everything that I have and all the people I have and look for things and look for ways that you can be blessed and bless other people. Because let me tell you something. The happier you are, the better your life is going to be. And me personally, the happiest I am is serving other people. I personally don't like to be served. I like to serve other people. And that's why I do what I do. I love being a chiropractic orthopedist. I love that because every single day of my life, I get to go into an office and treat people, love on people, and give them care because it's coming from my heart, because I love them. I'm able to serve them. And that's what makes it different. If you're feeling bad, if you're having a bad day, guarantee serve somebody. Do something for someone, and your whole day will change, and I guarantee you're going to have a better day. Guys, I know it's been a crazy show. I know it's been kind of off the cuff, and I kind of wanted it that way, to be honest with you. It's not something that I just kind of threw up in the air. I've been thinking about this all week, and I wanted to share it with you. If you like what I'm saying, awesome. If you don't like what I'm saying, that's awesome too. But I want your comments. Please let me know how you feel. And all I want you to get out of this is we need to love everyone, regardless. Love everyone. And I guarantee you're going to see a change in life. So you can always contact us on Instagram. You can like us on Facebook. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. And you can like us on, of course, Instagram. Guys, I really, really, really want to hear your comments. I love you. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.